Well, hello, Catherine Langman here, and back with you on the Productpreneur Success podcast. Welcome back to the show if you are a long-time listener, and of course, welcome to all of you new listeners as well. Love welcoming you all here. Now, today's episode is going to be a bit of a mini training episode designed to help you increase your sales conversions on your online store. And specifically, we're going to be talking about what difference a well-designed product page can actually make to your sales conversions. So whether you are new to e-commerce and needing to set up your first website, or you've been running for a while and maybe you might want to consider making some changes or improvements, I think it's worth stopping to think about what difference it potentially makes to sales when it comes to your product pages. Because your product pages are kind of the last opportunity to be persuasive and influence those add to carts and of course purchases. And on the flip side, an ill-considered product page will definitely hurt in terms of how many prospects add to cart and ultimately purchase. I see many brands who just, pretty much just rely on their theme template without really thinking about how influential this page can possibly be. So they're not considering things like tweaks or changes that they could make to product titles or descriptions or images, or really any other opportunities on this page that could be, pretty simple ways to increase your sales conversions and of course money that you bank. And instead, these brands are just kind of relying on driving traffic to their website or, hustling hard on social media without really kind of stopping to notice how well these product pages are actually converting or taking the time to try and improve them. And I totally understand how this happens. We tick something off and it's done and we, mentally put it out of our mind, and we're moving on to the next thing. But it is definitely worth coming back to review these things and try and improve those conversions. I think you all know, hopefully you all know, that even small increases in your website conversion rate can result in large increases in revenue. So it's important. And this is something that my team and I do spend a lot of time on for our clients as part of our advertising packages. So we'll be measuring conversion rates on product pages, on landing pages, collection pages, blog or content pages, etc., and just really looking for the opportunities to optimize them and ultimately make you more money. Because the more conversions that you can get and the higher the average order value, of course, then the bigger the return on investment on any paid traffic that you are doing in your business. So before we dive further into this episode, though, I do want to invite you again to take my free website assessment quiz. So basically, this quiz is designed to help you identify the number one problem impacting your online store and what you should focus on next so that you can fix it and start growing, even if you feel like you've tried everything. So this is for you if you are running an e-commerce store, but maybe struggling to generate as much sales or sales growth that you'd like to see, and you're just not really sure what you should focus on first or next in order to achieve forwards momentum. So you can take this free assessment and find out the best way to increase your e-commerce sales based on your own unique situation and where you are right now in your business. So just head to catherinelangman.com/assessment and you can do that today. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's dive into the episode and cover the 9 essential elements of a high converting product page. I'm going to refer to some examples throughout the episode here, and we will put screenshots on the podcast show notes page on the website. So if you want to check out what I'm talking about, go and head there. It'll be at catherinelangman.com/episode-141 for 141. Alrighty. So I'm going to talk about the e-commerce supplements brand, Mr. Jones Health, which I think does a really brilliant job with their product pages. And I'm also going to talk about some examples of a handful of other clients that we work with as well. So first, let's look at what elements are or should be on your product pages. And you need to keep the content on your product pages really clear and simple. Clarity and simplification, they are just so important when it comes to effective communication. So this page, a product page, should really reinforce to your website visitor that they are in the right place. We don't want them to meander off somewhere else on your website. Now, above the fold, so do you know what that means? Basically, you don't want people to have to scroll to find the important information. So the important information needs to be up top, and that includes a clear product title, the images, the price, the most important product benefit, and I do like to put the product value statement there as well, maybe a short positive customer testimonial, and a very simple add to cart process. This is not everything you ultimately want to have on the product page. That's the stuff that needs to be up top. So let's kind of go through it in detail, starting with the product title. So the product title really needs to be quickly and easily communicating what the product is, and ideally what the benefits are that the customer will experience and love. So as an example, on the Mr. Jones Health website, one of their products is called Sleep Tight, and the title is, the product name is Sleep Tight. So, obviously you kind of get the gist of what that supplement's going to do. Or from our client Cozy Go, which should be cozyco.com, their product title is Cozy Go, Sleep and Sun Protection Cover for All Strollers and Airline Cots. I don't think you have to guess to figure out what that is, right? Number 2, the short product description. So this short product description, you don't want to be really boring or literal here. We don't just want to describe what the product is in a kind of tactical, left brain, logical way, because boring features and logic just won't inspire anyone to take action. So you really need to appeal to our customers' emotional side of their brain, and that means writing short, snappy product value statements. This is a piece of content or copy on your website that you might want to get a copywriter to help with. And in my opinion, it is worth doing that to increase your adds to cart. So as an example, on the Mr. Jones Health website, for a better night's sleep, Sleep Tight supports your stress response, skin health, digestion, immunity, and energy. And who doesn't want to experience any of that? And incidentally, a product category like vitamin supplements is very tightly regulated here in Australia by the Therapeutic Goods Association, the TGA. So a brand like Mr. Jones just can't write whatever they like. They can't be seen to, pretty much guarantee or promise a particular health outcome or result. So another example would be from our client French Soda. And so they sell raincoats and gumboots, so rainwear for kids. And so I was looking at the yellow raincoat product page, which is super bright and fun. And the product description goes like this: fisherman, fashionista, do it all in this awesome yellow raincoat for kids. I'm bright and cheerful, and you definitely won't lose me in a crowd. Which I think is loads of fun, and you want your kids to be those kind of fun outdoor active kids, right? Okay, so moving on, number 3 is the product images. So when it comes to photographs of your products, please try and include a mix of lifestyle shots and product shots. Customers typically want to be able to see themselves, or like a slightly aspirational version of themselves using the products, which is where the images of your products in use by real people in real situations can be really helpful here. Plus, of course, they need to be able to see the detail of the product, and that is, of course, where the product shots are important. Now, you want to use 5 to 7 images. You don't want lots of images because it slows down the page load speed, which makes Google a little bit angry. So five images is kind of the sweet spot in our opinion. And you want them all looking like they belong to your brand in terms of the look and feel or the styling. So you don't want to be using, brand rep shots and then, something else from somebody somewhere else, or, because it's all going to be messy and it won't look cohesive. And then you also want all of the images cropped to the same square size. Now, if you look at the Mr. Jones Health website, again, I'm still on the Sleep Tight product page. They only have one image with any human element in it. It's actually hands pouring the product out, and the rest are beautifully designed. They're just product shots, but they've also got some text to kind of communicate the benefits of the product. And part of me can't help feeling like another image with a human in it would help here. I mean, it is supposedly a brand for women's health, so I think it would be nice to see a woman in there. But again, and I'm not an expert on the TGA regulations for this sort of thing, so there might be a restriction about that. I'm not really sure. Or have a look at the French Soda website. You know, their product pages have the most gorgeous, fun images with the kids, you know, bouncing around in the images. And, you know, they are super enticing for the customer. All right, number 4 is the action button. And this would be something I think most first-time business owners probably would just take what is in the theme and run with it. But the add to cart button itself can be quite an influential factor. And you want to try using a contrasting color to the other elements on the page. And, you know, so this call to action button and the text on the button needs to be really very easy to see and understand what the button does. So buy now, add to cart, add to bag, that sort of thing, right? And so it makes it really clear to the customer what they need to do next in order to complete the purchase. So Mr. Jones has a solid black add to bag button on their website, which is a color that's very much within their brand color palette. So it's not, you know, contrasting in that regard, but you really can't miss it because the rest of the page is largely white and a pastel color palette. So it does stand out. Or take a look at the babyaiders.net.au website. They use a bright turquoise color, which again is in their brand palette, but it's not used a lot on the site. So it really does stand out. And they have so that's their add to cart button. And, you know, it's just really super clear to the customer where they need to click to progress to the next stage of their purchase. And honestly, this is just not something that you want to leave to chance. I mean, you might think it's a little bit unnecessary to go for a contrasting color for those action buttons, but this has been tested many, many times over many years, and it is something that typically has a positive influence on your conversion rate. So it is worth testing. Number 5 are the trust signals. So if you have any kind of product guarantee, you want to put it here. Ideally, it would be nice to see it right under the add to cart button. Or, you know, if you have a flat rate shipping, make it obvious on the page as well. There would be other icons that assist with trust, like common payment methods and star ratings. So all of those things help to remove any kind of perceived risk for the customer. Easy returns is another one, and I'm fairly sure that the Bird's Nest website do a good job with promoting the easy returns. And obviously they sell clothing, so if you've never bought clothing from a website before, you know, that can be something that holds people back. So those 5 elements would be where a lot of online stores end with their product pages. But if that's the case with you, then you are missing out on some key pieces of content that are hugely influential in terms of consumer psychology. So the next one would be number 6, the detail. Now, in a nutshell, you want to cover the following in the detailed description area. Obviously, the detailed product description, you can have much longer, more persuasive product descriptions in there. You definitely want to consider any kind of product features that your customers might need to know. So obviously for a brand like Mr. Jones Health, they are a supplements brand, and consumers, they need to know the ingredients. You know, that's pretty required information, you know. Critical is the word I was going for there. So any kind of product features like ingredients or sizing instructions as well would be another thing. So for French Soda selling raincoats and gumboots, you know, with children who are growing and their sizes are changing all the time, that's very necessary detailed information. It's all very logical stuff though, and that's why we put it further down where people can find it, but it's not, you know, taking up space up the top. But when it comes to how you present this detailed information, you need to be really mindful of the user experience, particularly if your customers are browsing your website on their mobile phone, which most of them are these days. And I do see a lot of brands, even many who are big, who have really long chunks of written content under their add to cart button. And I get that many products do require, the need to communicate a lot of detailed information, sometimes quite technical information. But a lot of, those long chunks of text, they are really hard to read, particularly on the mobile phone. And then if that's the case, then the salient facts get missed. So we don't want to deter the right customers from adding to cart or from buying. So we need to present the detail in a really user-friendly way. And as you can see on the Mr. Jones Health website, they're using tabs under the add to cart button to break the content up into easy to read chunks. So for example, they have a detailed description in one tab. I think they have ingredients in another tab, or our French soda client, they have a use and care instructions in a tab. The website Bird's Nest, they will usually have a will this fit me tab, or you might consider having a product demonstration video in a tab. And sometimes the shipping and returns information might be in another tab as well, or the reviews. So there's a variety of ways that you can break the content up, and you really need to have considered thought put into what specific information should go into those tabs. I really wouldn't want to be having more than 3 tabs as an ideal number, just because, again, it can become overwhelming. You can always have a permanent FAQ section in the footer area of your website, which is a place that a lot of customers know to go to find out much more information if they have additional questions. So just, the 3 most important themes or topics of information in the tabs under that add to cart button, so that we don't overwhelm customers with too much information. Number 7, another element is the USPs, the unique sales proposition. So and this can be something that you include in visual format. I certainly would recommend that you do so. So we sometimes call these benefit icons as well, and they can really help to communicate the benefits that are the most important things to your customers in a really quick to understand visual way. When you think about icons, probably one of the prime examples would be street signs that use icons to communicate, whatever the information is, but in a really quick way, because obviously if you're driving past it on the road, you haven't got time to stop and read and, take your eye off the road whilst you're driving along, right? So we can do the same in terms of the key benefits for your brand or your product. And Mr. Jones Health do that as well. So you can have a look on their website under the add to cart button. They have 3 icons, and they communicate the benefits of being vegan friendly, crafted by naturopaths, and Australian made. Next, number 8 is the social proof. And incorporating real customer reviews is a hugely influential component of your marketing generally, and definitely your product page, because this is the point of purchase. And so we can't miss this opportunity here. And incidentally, research shows that 1 review is better than 0, 2, 3, or 4 reviews, but 5 or more reviews outperforms 1 review. I'm not talking about the star rating, I'm talking about the number of people who've left reviews. So if you only have 1 review on your product, don't feel like you are, that it's embarrassing or anything like that. It's good. Leave it there. And so customer reviews provide the social proof, which, like I said, is really influential because it helps new customers to feel more comfortable about making that purchase decision, because somebody else has gone before them and done the, the trialing and the testing and given their feedback. So I like to, and there's a variety of ways you can show social proof. I like to have the star rating right up the top underneath the product title, of course, but further down, you want to present your verified customer reviews in, say, a what customers say section, which I think you'll see on the Mr. Jones website. I think all of our clients have this sort of a section, and preferably using an app that shows that they're verified. So you can use something like Judge Me or Stamped, and there's probably many others as well. Using an app like that not only adds an extra layer of credibility because, it's verified by an external source, but they will also dynamically or automatically update on your website as new reviews are coming in as well, which is awesome because you don't want to have to keep going back and spending time changing and updating your website for something like that. And then on to lucky last number 9, which is the upsell, because this is an opportunity to be able to increase your average order value or your customer lifetime value. And you can do this in the form of a subscribe and save offer with a small discount, which is something you'll see on the Mr. Jones website. You can do a customers love these together bundle that customers can add to cart from the same product page, or you can have the Amazon strategy, which is the recommended products, or this our customers who bought this also love section, towards the end of the product page. You can also include an upsell app that offers complimentary products in a pop-up form after the customer has added that first one to cart. So a few different ways to go there, and don't try them all at once, just test one thing at a time and see what helps influence your conversion rate and your average order value. Now, a final word, at the end of the day, what you really want to remember is that the primary goal of your product page is to get the prospect or the website visitor to buy your product, which I know sounds completely obvious. So in a nutshell though, here are the 4 things I really want you to take away from today's episode so that you can influence your website visitors to be more likely to buy and therefore increase your sales conversions on your website. And the first is to be simple and clear. Don't waffle, don't write long-winded or unnecessary copy or use jargon or be in any way kind of confusing or boring. Number 2, overcome final objections. You've already got somebody to the product page, and at this point you need to use things like social proof, USPs, trust signals and guarantees to help overcome any perceived objections to buying your product. Number 3, cross-sell and upsell. Give the customers the option to add an additional product or accessory to their cart, or subscribe to receive regular shipments at a discount, or upgrade to a bigger size, or even a bundle. And this is of course to increase the average order value or the customer lifetime value. And then number 4 is get the add to cart click. We have to do that. So you want to maximize your chances of getting the sale by choosing a button color that stands out on the page. So hopefully you found this episode helpful today, but remember, a change in your results will only ever come from taking action and implementing what you learn. And in that regard, you really only have 3 choices. Number 1, you can figure out alone via trial and error. Number 2, you can learn from someone else who's already knows how to do it. Or number 3, you can outsource or delegate. And of course, each is a valid choice and each will take varying lengths of time to generate results. So if you'd like to speed up that process of learning or implementing and getting results faster, please reach out to me, because there are a variety of ways that I can help you depending on the stage of business that you are at. This is what my team and I do and love to do every single day, whether you are looking for coaching to help you learn and implement these things, or if you're looking for a team of experts to outsource to, just head on over to catherinelangman.com/work-with-me to find out about those options and how we might be able to help you. So that's it for today's episode. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, please share it with one of your business besties, especially if you know that they are looking to grow their brand or their e-commerce store this year. Super easy to share. Just click on the icon next to the podcast on whichever platform you are listening to it on, and then copy the share link and message it to your friends. But for now, have a fabulous day and week, and I look forward to being back on the show with you again next week. Bye for now.